Yo, what's good? What's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. It's Neff, and today you guys are going to be watching some Kurog Grimtotem raid testing. Finally got beta. I literally got beta like an hour before this raid testing started. Yeah, I'll throw my talents on the screen here. I basically, on the spec tree, I went the left and right side. So we went momentum, know your enemy, essence break. And on the right side, just the basic stuff, throw glaive build, rage fire, burning wound, soul rend, any means necessary. In the middle of this tree, I tried it on, all three bosses that we tested, and it just felt really, really underwhelming compared to this build. I tried taking Essence Break with the middle of the tree. I tried taking Any Means Necessary with the middle of the tree, and it just felt really, really underwhelming. Had no burst damage. The sustain was pretty low, and yeah, I was just falling really behind everyone else on the meters when I ran this middle part of the tree. No tuning has really happened yet. Once tuning rolls out, we'll actually get to see, what the final builds or meta builds will actually be for HAVOC. But so far, I think this is, the go-to build. Before we get started into the video, I do want to shout out my Discord. If you're not a part of that, be sure to check the link in the description. We're at like 700 members. If you're interested in getting a new UI, I do offer my UI to Twitch subs. If you're a Twitch sub and you join my Discord, make sure to have your Twitch account linked with your Discord account, and you'll automatically get roles in my Discord. You can access hidden channels for subs only, and you can get my UI, my weak orders, everything like that. I do offer an Elv UI and a Shadowed Unit Frames UI. They work and act exactly the same. They look the same. They act the same. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check that out. If you're not subbed, make sure to hit that sub button. If you like this video, if you watched my past videos and you just haven't subbed, make sure to hit that button. It helps me out tremendously, and I'd really, really appreciate it. So we'll talk a little bit about the boss now. In the room, there's 4 altars at 4 different corners. There's a fire altar, there's an earth altar, and a storm altar, and a frost altar. And whichever altar the boss is closest to, he'll gain a buff and cast abilities based on that altar. So you want to keep him at one altar the entire time, because when you swap to a different altar and he changes, abilities and stuff, he does like a big AoE damage, and I think people take 80% increased damage from elemental damage or nature damage, something like that. But at the fire altar, he targets 3 random players and applies a dot to them. It lasts 10 seconds, and after it expires, it creates a lava pool on the ground. And the lava pool is pretty big, and it does a ton of damage if you stand in it. It does like a quarter of your health per tick, which is, so you definitely don't want to stand in the fire. Watch out for your Timmies and definitely tell them not to stand in the fire. And he casts these big lines that target random players, I believe. I think he does it like 4 times in a row. So you definitely just want to, move around the room, but don't cross into another altar. I think these lines will pretty much one-shot you. There's also another dot that targets up to 3 players, and after a certain amount of time, you like explode with that dot, and you do fire damage around you. While he's by one of these altars, he increases the damage done from that altar by like 5% per stack. So you can't stay or go back to the same altar over and over again. So the frost altar is a bit more simple compared to the fire altar. There's like an AoE pulsing ability that just does damage. There's an ability to where he spawns like orbs around himself, and they shoot out just random directions, and they're really easy to dodge. Melee can just literally stand inside the boss and dodge them. There's a soak ability where 2 people get targeted, and you want to stack up and soak those in 2 different groups. And once you actually soak, you get a debuff that you can't immune. And if you get multiple applications of this debuff, I think it freezes you. Not sure if it kills you or not. I don't think you can get out of the debuff or the ice block, whatever the hell you want to call it. So you definitely don't want that to happen. The earth altar is also pretty simple. Like half the raid gets targeted with these big circles, and you just need to spread out. And then up to 3 people are targeted with these big absorb shields that need to be healed through. And with our testing, we had 12 people, I think, get on this fight, and these shields were actually huge. So those people definitely need to be focused really, really bad. There's also these earthquakes that spawn around the room, and they spawn adds, which don't do a whole lot. They just get cleaved down really easily. So the storm altar is where things get pretty difficult, and you actually need, set strategies to actually deal with this, or you'll basically just end up killing each other, and it'll just not be a good time. So first, there's 2 big circles that people get targeted with. You just want to take those out and have no one soak them. Immune them if you can. I think the actual person targeted takes damage, but it doesn't kill them. You just want to get out with it. And lightning crash is where you actually have to deal with something. I have this picture on the screen here. What we ended up doing for this debuff, lightning crash, what it does, you get a debuff that hits the closest ally near you, or a decent amount of damage over 10 seconds. Kept YOLOing this, people just kept getting killed by it. So what we ended up doing was we had one of the tanks go out, and we had him stand on skull. And the people with the debuff, we would have them stand around the tank, and he would just soak all of their debuffs, with a cooldown or something. Like I think we had a DK use AMS, and he dealt with it pretty easily. There's also puddles around the storm altar that spawn. I think there's 3 total that we had to soak in our group of 12. Not sure if that scales with more or less, but you have to soak these. If you do not soak these, they will explode and basically wipe you. After you get him to 66%, he'll leap to the middle of the room and basically go immune. And then whichever altar you were at, it will spawn that ad for sure, one of those big ads. And then I'm not sure if the second ad correlates to what altar you were at, but he does spawn a second ad. The ads for the most part were really easy to deal with. There wasn't a lot going on. The fire ad just spawned random lava pools at the ground, and there was like little ads that came out of the lava pools. The frost ad just had an interrupt, you want to kick that pretty easy. There's another ability where he does like a pulsing AoE, and the further you are away, the more damage you take, so you want to be close and stacked by the frost ad. The earth ad, really easy to deal with, has like a tank swap. Then he does an ability where he'll put circles around people and just does AoE damage, so you want to spread for that. And then he places circles on the ground, which you want to run away from. Storm ad is also really easy. He will teleport around the room, which is kind of annoying. He'll teleport to random players, and he'll leave like an electric pool on the ground, and you don't want to stand in that. You'll take a ton of damage. Electric pool will actually pulse to the closest person to it within 8 yards. Once he teleports and he puts that pool down, you just want to walk away from it. And yeah, the ads in P2 were really easy to deal with and very trivial. And in phase 3, it's basically the same thing. He's just buffed. He casts all of his abilities throughout that altar like more often. I will be coming out with more raid testing videos, so be on the lookout for those. Probably within the next couple days will be the other 2 bosses, and then next week we have more bosses to test, so we'll definitely test those. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time, peace.